Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And a good morning. It is time for Coffee Ann here on ON, AM, and FM. Monday morning. It is May 22nd. My name is Joe Callahan. Thanks for joining us this morning. Melissa Murray is here. Good morning to you, Melissa.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, everyone.
And former mayor from the town of Cumberland, no relation, Bill Murray, is here as well. So two Murrays, no waiting.
You don't win on this one.
I don't.
Yeah,
but it's an all Irish Coffee Ann. So I'm pretty,
That's true.
pretty happy about that.
That's right.
Good morning and hi, everyone.
So we got to finish off the whole Taylor Swift thing over the weekend.
Oh, my goodness.
And I told Dave earlier, I didn't get caught in any Taylor Swift traffic. I can't believe it.
It's a miracle.
It is a miracle. And because I thought I was going to get caught in it on Saturday because I had to drive south down 295. It was about 2:30 in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And the traffic on 295 was backed up from 95 almost to Route 1. I said, oh, that's all the Taylor Swift traffic. Trying to get on the 95 to get to 495.
Yep.
I said, I got to come back this way. Should I get on a Route 1 and get off into North Attleboro? And I said, no, I don't know how bad Route 1 will be. I'll have to just wing it on 295. And by the time I came back, which was about a couple hours later, it had gone.
No.
So I think people took heed when they said, you got to get to the parking lots as early as you can.
Yep.
So by 4:30 or so, you were then late to get into the parking lot on Route 1.
Yeah.
So I didn't deal with any of that. The only traffic I had to deal with was Janet Jackson traffic from the Xfinity Center on Friday night.
Yeah, that was on Friday.
So I was coming home. It was a late baseball game. Coming home, and the traffic was letting out. So there was a ton of people coming by my house. And weren't there, when I got to my house, two people are standing in my driveway.
No kidding.
Waiting for an Uber?
They're waiting for a ride, and but now I want to pull into my driveway. So they moved to the next driveway, and
You're right.
I was able to pull in. So it wasn't too bad. But here's my absolute favorite Taylor Swift story from the whole weekend. And I don't know if you guys heard this. Channel 5 ran a story on this guy up in Boston last November or whenever Taylor Swift tickets went on sale. He bought them. He had to go to StubHub and spent $1,700
I heard this.
on 4 tickets. And gave them as Christmas presents to his daughters. And of course, they're all excited when they go see Taylor Swift. Okay, so you've heard this story? Okay.
I just heard it
Okay.
on the radio. Yeah.
Bill, so Melissa, on Thursday, now the shows are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think he had Friday tickets. On Thursday, he still hadn't received his tickets. And of course, they come on your phone now. Mm-hmm. You don't get actual tickets. And StubHub doesn't even actually have the tickets. They're the middleman.
Yeah.
They go to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then everything gets emailed to you, or however they do it. So by Thursday, he doesn't have anything yet. He calls StubHub, and they apologize. Whoever they went to has either gone out of business or whatever. They're not answering their phones or emails, nothing. We're going to have to refund your money.
Oh, no.
$1,700. He goes, but my daughters think they're going to Taylor Swift. So he goes to another ticket agency and buys 4 tickets. And guess how much money he spent?
I can't.
$21,000
Isn't that all?
for 4 tickets.
That's...
Over $5,000 per ticket. And he said, and he had rented a limousine.
Okay, you mean 2,100.
No,
21,000. Can you believe that?
3 zeros
$1,000.
for 4 tickets.
Okay.
Now, he had also rented a limousine. So he didn't have to cancel the limousine. So I'm figuring this guy has got money.
Right.
He's not suffering. He's not living on the streets. He's okay. He can throw this money around, which is great.
Yep.
If you can do that. But he spent $21,000. They also had another story. There was another woman. She doesn't have $21,000. Same thing. Spent $1,900 for tickets. Never got them from StubHub. So I wonder how many people out there never got tickets for them, and they're just shelling money back.
There was something on
crazy.
social media, somebody in Cumberland who I knew, who said they had 1 ticket, and they put it on, and a few minutes later, it's gone. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody paid $2,000 for it, like on the spot.
On the spot, yeah.
$2,000, and I said to my wife, and my kids, fortunately, were not involved in this thing, but that is what you call money that's thrown out the window. People they have so much money, they don't care.
Yeah.
People were flying in from California, from what I heard or read, and it's just they're absolutely it's like money to burn. But I'll give you a side story. I told you my girls were in the Minnesota playing hockey. 14 years old. A girl on their team. This is a Boston team. Lives in Washington, flies out about at least 30 times out to play in California, and was playing for this Boston team in Minnesota. She's 14 years old. You don't think they have money?
Oh, well, yeah.
And plus, but to do that with a 14-year-old girl,
Right.
I mean, Taylor Swift is one thing, but in
she's an
sports to
adult.
do it, it's unbelievable.
So I understand the shows were good. If you like that stuff, put out a 3.5 hour program. And she performed in the rain on Saturday night.
Right.
And just went on like a pro and
Yeah,
did great.
36 songs, I think. Or
Is that
Yes, yeah,
Is that it?
something like that. I think I heard
Yeah,
that.
but well, one of them was a montage, I believe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, obviously. But I love Taylor Swift, but I was never going to pay that much. And also, I don't think I would have been okay with the crowd. Like, it's just
Oh,
too young, dare I say? Right.
They-
Well, I knew they were worried. The Foxborough officials and the Patriots officials were worried because the weekend before she was in Philadelphia.
yep.
20,000 people without tickets showed up at the stadium.
Yep.
And they were real concerned about that happening.
Well,
in
this morning they
Foxborough.
said there's such a mess up there, just a cleanup mess,
On
is
Route 1
which I'm
or-
sure. Well, I guess all
Or just
around
in the state, the
they
parking
were
lots,
just
yeah.
saying it is unbelievable,
Yeah.
and you know that I guess you could compare it that football fans are kind of that's the traffic too. Football fans have a, you know, they get into a kind of a trend of how to do it and whatnot.
Yeah.
They also, as you know, up in the football games, they tailgate all the time, but because they do it so much. They're used to it. They're very conscious of not leaving, you know.
They know how to clean up.
But these are all people that have no idea.
gone.
Yeah.
They just
Young
have.
folks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I heard the bathroom lines were so long they just had to open up the men's room to
Yeah.
To the women.
Yeah.
All right. The,
And that the merch line was 3 hours long.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
And that's why they opened that up the day before.
Wild.
And you had to have a
Wild.
ticket. I think
Yeah.
you couldn't just go there.
Right.
You had to have a ticket
So-
to get the merchandise.
So the craziness has left the area,
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
and we all survived. So phew, huh?
I joked yesterday that I'll wait 20 years and see her at Mohegan.
You think so?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, someone posted online. I thought this was funny that Taylor Swift should actually run for president
No.
because she would win.
No.
Because she's just so popular.
With
With young
No,
kids,
yeah.
you got to get their parents to vote for her.
Sure, that's true. But the problem is she's not 35 yet. But if she ran for president, the guy, I'm going to assume he knew what he was talking about. If she were to run for president, she's 34 now. And when election day comes around, she will be 34. But when inauguration day comes around, she will be 35. So there's nothing in the Constitution that said you can't run for president.
They've tried to talk Oprah into.
we don't need another celebrity president.
That's
Oh,
right.
All right.
I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Happy early birthday, by the way.
Thank you,
Here's,
thank you. I
on-
try.
on the 24th.
I was with my grandson, and his birthday's the day before, and I said, "You take it over now. No more birthdays for Grandpa.
you.
You know, I've had enough." But thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, and so speaking of up near where I live, just because it made our national Massachusetts news up here, murder in my town.
Yeah, I saw that. I
Murder
did.
in Mansfield. About a mile and a half from where I live.
Oh,
is
no.
where this took place. Now the police are saying, not to worry, the public is fine.
Well, they caught the guy.
Well,
are
it's weird that they're both young, the victim and the
Yep,
person that they think did it. They're 22 and 23. The one that was killed was from Mansfield. The one that allegedly killed him is from Manchester by the Sea,
Which is Portsmouth.
which is way
Yeah.
up on the North Shore.
Oh, yeah.
And so what they're saying is that these two got into an argument on Friday, and then the guy allegedly comes back on Saturday and shoots him like 5 times.
Yeah.
Now they have the guy, but he's going to be in court today on gun-related charges.
Yeah.
He hasn't been charged yet with murder. It's just illegal guns and
it's a matter of-
firearms possession.
It's probably a matter of time.
Well, yeah, we haven't got you on this yet.
Yeah.
We know you
But-
have the guns,
But
but
you got the guns, and we got you on that, so it's enough to keep you in prison there
Yeah.
for a little
Right.
while. So, I'm like, wow, we don't
murder in Mansfield.
we don't normally normally don't have
Right,
that.
sleepy little town. Not sleepy, but you know.
The last one was about 10 years ago, so
Mm.
they come.
Well, I had a murder when I was mayor in Cumberland.
They still haven't
And,
solved that.
and
have
I
they?
know now, well, things I can't say because I know some of the inside
All
stuff.
right.
But I knew this man very well because my highway superintendent was his uncle. So I've had, man, he was a real nice guy. He was a veteran, amputated leg, and it's a tough thing especially when it's in your own hometown.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
But they, unfortunately, because of a couple of problems, they know who it is, and it's just, they haven't given up on it because
No. Well, good.
I talked to the new police chief. Just happened to say hello to him, and he said it's ongoing, which I hope it is because they really know who it is. And,
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
and how many
that's-
years ago was that?
it would have been 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All
so a
right.
long time ago. And in fact, the house he lived in, they've torn down. There's a new house there. It's like a new neighborhood.
Wow.
And but it was a shock. It was I vividly because I got the call from the police right away, and it was a Saturday morning. They found him. It happened Friday night, and I rushed to get to the highway superintendent, who was the nephew. They were very close because he had one son, but this guy was very close with him. And Saturday morning, and it's a shocker when it happens.
It sure is.
Hopefully they will
And I
be able to
yeah, that's how I feel.
solve
And
the
arrest
cold
somebody.
case, right?
And I hate reading stories about this, and it's happened again in Providence, where a woman is she's being charged for allegedly practicing unlicensed dentistry in Rhode Island.
Oh,
and,
yes, I heard about this. This is
now she
terrible.
well, she says
she's pulled teeth.
yes. Now she says. Does I have it here? She says she got licensed in another country.
That's what I thought.
And but now she comes here, but they don't have any records of it here. And she worked on a woman, and you can see why immigrants would go to this because she actually went to a real dentist and was told how much it was going to cost, and she can't
Yeah.
afford it.
Yeah.
Well, I know this, like in Rhode Island, I know a guy, and so she goes to this other woman who did pull a teeth, but she was also drilling in her front teeth, and she got a terrible, terrible infection. Where she then had to go to the emergency room, and so that's where she spills the beans.
Well, did you
on
see
this other
excuse
woman.
me? Did you see the office that so-called?
Well, I didn't see
It's
pictures
in
of it.
it's in a house. They
Down
had
in
a
the
picture.
basement.
They had a picture of it, and I'm not surprised she had an infection.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Well, I heard that rusty equipment and
Yeah, oh, it
things
was-
like that. I was like, ugh, yeah.
Oh dear.
Yep.
Going to the dentist is unpleasant enough
Enough,
without having
yeah.
to think about that.
And so, when I go, I'm always glad when they pull in the instruments out of the sealed packaging. Okay, everything's nice and sterile, so everything's good. So, but so this happened down in Providence. A woman by the name of Altagracia Adamus. And it was on Murray Street. How about that?
Murray.
Yes, I know. I
Murray
know
Street,
this stuff.
Murray Street
Yeah.
in Providence.
By the way, we both say
we
it's
didn't do it. We didn't do
we
it.
didn't do it. No.
So, but yeah, she has a waiting room, a treatment room, with chair and lights and other evidence of her practice going on. So she's
Oh,
gonna,
yeah, they had pictures. And I forget where I saw the pictures,
Yeah.
and they weren't.
not pleasant. Huh?
No.
Not at all. All right, more coffee ends coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in 766-1240.
When you visit the Menard Lockature Funeral Home's website, you'll find a wealth of important information, including frequently asked questions about the various options of pre-planning funeral etiquette, visitation, personal help to help the family, and many others. Remember, pre-planning is safe and helpful to family members who may be overwhelmed with details and responsibilities. It also assures that the deceased's final wishes are met. Their website will also feature several photos of their two beautiful and classic funeral homes at 127 Carrington Avenue, Woonsocket, and 71 Central Street, Manville. You'll be treated with courtesy and understanding. Their main phone number is 762-1825. Menard Lockature Funeral Homes.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON AM and FM.
All right, it's Coffee In on ON, AM, and FM, but thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray, and Melissa Murray is here as well. So we're going to get your take on this, Mayor. You're friends with Governor Dan McKee. You've known him for a long time.
I just was with him Friday for lunch.
The governor's got this big Learn 365 RI plan, and two more towns have signed on to this agreement, Pawtucket and Smithfield. So they want to catch up to Massachusetts in math and English language art scores and student attendance. So now we're up to 8 communities. Thoughts on the whole Learn 365 RI?
It's funny. I didn't have lunch with him because of that, but I was with him for lunch on Friday, and of course I've known Dan for 40-something years. That's why I became mayor, because he begged me to run. And I just know him, and I know you know him well. He's always been pro-education. So if you look at it, it's tailored on this OCYL that we had so successfully in Cumberland. And he's got some terrific people. Bob Walsh started off, who was the former director of the union, of teachers union, is kind of heading it. But the guy that's doing all the bull work is Jerry Chapata, I was 6 years on the board at the charter schools, and Jerry is just a very sharp individual. And they're carrying this concept over. We were very successful with that OCYL in Cumberland that Dan started with another Dr. McGee. And it's a thing that proved itself. In fact, as much as the schools, certain people in the schools in Cumberland tried to fight it, yet the superintendent, Bob Mitchell, who was the superintendent most of the time when I was mayor, he signed on. He said, they're turning kids over to us that have a great foundation. And why would we want to take it over, and have that burden of trying to run it? So the OCYL, and that's what he's trying to tailor, not exactly the same, because it's a lot of different things that they're trying, because they're trying to reach, OCYL was reaching the real young kids, preschool and everything. With Dan's idea right now, as you read, and he talks about it, is how do I reach these other students that need this outlet, is probably the best way to put it. And he told me, I can't, he didn't name any of the others, but I knew Pawtucket because I'm very close with Mayor Grebian. And I was with him the day before, and he was telling me that they were signing that day. And Dan, the governor, actually said that he's definitely going to, he's got fairly good commitments from a number of communities. And you know what, as a former mayor, I think they're crazy not to sign on to it. It's a thing that is so badly needed, and his goal is always trying to beat Massachusetts, which I think is a good one.
Are you following all of this with the
I am,
365?
yep.
You
And
like Melissa?
I think after school learning is so vital. Those after school programs are vital. We have to put as much into that as we can. I would also mention, though, that this is a budget item, so it all depends on the budget negotiations, which have already started, of course, and all the horse trading that's going on and will go on. So we'll see where this program ends up. But I mean, after school programs are vital for so many reasons, just to keep kids engaged, keep them learning. You always hear, when kids are out of school during the summer, they lose, like 3 months worth of learning, right? So you got to keep them 365. I think it's anything we can do to keep them engaged is a really good idea.
All right.
I had this discussion. My youngest daughter has been for many years up in Woonsocket, a speech pathologist. Beth. And she's a speech pathologist. And I had this discussion last night with her. We have to have a bite to eat with her. And she said exactly the same thing Melissa just said, is that, you lose these kids all of a sudden, because we were talking about year end. And she says, I'm sort of happy. And she did it for a while where she would help kids during the summer. And because she says you really lose them, and by the time you get them back in September, they're on another track, and then you're
Gotta
into
wrangle them
almost
again,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So, and that's the whole point of it. Is just it's so much. That's why I can't. And I'm not involved in the negotiations, but
Nor am I.
yeah,
Nor am
so
I. I don't-
well,
That's not at my level.
No, I'm hopefully, and I think they will support it because there's such a need.
Now, your other daughter teaches in
Yeah,
Massachusetts.
she's.
Do they have is her town part of a similar program like this?
They do have it. It's I forget what it's called. In fact, I know you went to school with her. She's retiring in December
good for her.
after 32 years up there.
Wow.
And she's a resource teacher, but she has the same attitude. You know, when you talk to her about how you lose these kids, and she's in Situate, Mass, which is a beautiful community, but they have their problems. So you can imagine these places like Providence and Boston, and that these kids have nothing really. That's the shame of it.
Okay, moving on to keeping it with Governor Dan McKee. He has nominated Jonathan Womer as the next director of the Department of Administration. Do either of you know
Yes.
Jonathan Womer?
Yep.
I do not. I knew Jim Thorson because he was a neighbor of mine from Cumberland, and Jim was very capable. I don't know this gentleman at all.
But you know Jonathan?
I've worked with Jonathan
Good guy?
for
Oh.
yes, many years, many times in front of the Senate Finance Committee. I think that he's an excellent choice.
Says he's got vast experience in state government and
does.
a vast knowledge of Rhode Island's budget process.
He sure does.
So that'll help a lot.
He sure
won't it?
does. Yep, I think he's a good choice.
Yeah, the governor
He's
was
a good guy too.
Yeah, the governor was very happy when he was talking about it Friday.
Okay.
So that should be an
easy,
Yeah, that's a Senate
sail
confirmation. That would be a
through.
Senate confirmation, and yeah,
All
I
right.
think no
Is that-
problems.
Is
And-
that coming up quickly?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah, because
'Cause I know they'd be-
everything's going to come up very quickly.
No,
'cause-
they're behind because I'm on the
We are behind,
I'm on the Rhinebeck board, as
Yeah.
vice chair of that, and we're down 2 people, and it's a big backlog trying to get all these things.
Yeah,
through.
yeah, we'll get there though. They
Yeah.
keep saying we're going to get out in mid-June, and they always say that, and I said no way.
Yeah.
Okay, sure,
you know the feel.
All right, the front page story in today's call, keeping with the governor. Governor Dan McKee and Rhode Island Housing announced a new spending wave of over $100 million for the creation and preservation of housing projects in 13 communities. Is that enough money?
No.
No? Oh, you both say no.
No, that's a shame. But you got to look at it also, and I've had this deep discussion, and the governor knows it. Is that there's so much money needed, and there's so much you can do, and there's Melissa, you would know it a little bit more, as far as the dollars there, but. It's kind of a no-win situation. It just goes on and it goes on, and there's so much.
Yeah, you need housing. But we need all types of housing on every level. There's just not enough, and because of the high demand and the low availability, and also lots of factors, inflation. All of these management companies that own hundreds and hundreds of units who say, oh, we're charging market price. They're driving the market price,
Sure.
right?
Absolutely.
And you can do that when you own hundreds of units in a town. It's really, really a crisis. I talked very openly about my frustrations in finding housing for myself. And it took me 6 months to find a place in my district that I could afford that met my needs. And it doesn't meet all of my needs, but it was a struggle. And rental application fees, $75 per adult.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
It is really ridiculous. And when I talked about this also in front of my colleagues, and I said, look, if with the people I know and my access and my privilege, it took me 6 months. Think about what it's taken, your constituents who are just shelling out hundreds of dollars to apply to places and getting nothing for it.
They don't have it either. They
Right,
don't have the
they
money.
don't have it, or going to look at houses that are getting way above asking price. It's really crazy right now. So no, it's not enough money, but I'm glad the focus is on housing because we desperately need to address it. We
It
need to
does-
get creative.
It does include Woonsocket. It just says the Mill Race District in
Yep.
Woonsocket. So that down on South.
That will
South
be
Main?
helpful. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. They want to transform 3 vacant mills into 70 units of affordable rental housing on the upper floors, office rental, and arts fabrication space on the ground floor of each
Yeah.
building.
And live workspaces, which is
It also
Good
includes
idea.
Central Falls, Providence, Lincoln, Johnston, North Kingstown, and Westerly, among other places.
But if you look at it, here's your problem: is Woonsocket has areas that they can do it, but you go into I can speak for Cumberland because we were around 6% affordable housing when I was mayor. I don't think it's budged much from there, but try to get affordable housing. It's the old story, and our comprehensive plan spoke about this, which was passed when I was mayor. And the shame of it is that nobody wants it in their neighborhood.
yeah, the NIMBY
And,
factor.
right? Don't you find that?
Yeah, yeah, even here,
Yeah,
right? Even
probably,
here, all
but,
everywhere. The NIMBY factor, and also in some more rural areas, it's an issue of lack of infrastructure.
Yeah.
Because you need the water, you need the electricity, you need the sewer, you need everything, and then if it's not already there, it becomes a much bigger project and much more expensive.
More expensive, yeah. Got to bring everything in.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, there's no easy answers in
I
short,
know.
but we're we have to think about out of the box
Right.
ideas. I know that I think that Burn-In Mills on Front Street is also part of that.
Is it
I believe so.
one of the mills over there they want to renovate? Oh,
Yep.
But you also have to look at the contractors, the developers. They're out to make money.
well, sure.
Of course.
And they're
Of
going to
course.
fight. We lost so many things in Cumberland over a period. Actually, when Dan lost a big project, hasn't even been built yet, but it's been approved by the courts, because as soon as you knock them down, they take you right to court. And in most cases, the courts will side with the developers, and that's another thing I think that has to change. That kind of attitude, and to afford it. I have a grandson who works for Senator Whitehouse, who's coming up here to go to Brown, but he's still working for Senator Whitehouse. He looked in Providence for 2 months once he knew he was coming up here, and you want to see the prices.
Yeah.
And,
Can't afford it.
It's
well,
outrageous.
he's hoping now. He's knock on wood that he's have one that he thinks he can do. But the biggest problem is that he's 26 years old. He doesn't have a lot of money.
Right.
And-
Cost burdened.
And it's right. It's just it's a struggle. I mean, he's used to a little bit because he's been living in Washington working for the senator, and it's a tough deal for these kids. And they talk about. I said
Sure,
this
he's
to-
still paying his student loans.
Oh yeah, and I said, I said,
big
to,
chunk right
well, I
there.
said to Dan Friday, I said, here's your other problem. You have these kids, and you want to keep them in Rhode Island. Just use that as an example. They can't afford to in a lot of cases, and because of not having places to stay.
Yeah.
Why would you stay or look for a job and sleep out of your car, basically? So
Yeah.
it's a big issue.
It is, and then because the cost is so high, a lot of families are cost burdened, which means they spend more than 30% of their income on
housing.
just housing, and so they don't have any money left over. So then, they're getting subsidized in other ways, and then also they're not having that money to go to the restaurants and put back in the community, and keep that revenue
good point.
stream going. So it's just it's problematic.
All right, break time.
We didn't
go ahead.
solve.
that-
we didn't solve
On
that.
that
did
depressing
we?
note,
no,
we
we
didn't
haven't
do.
solved
No,
it.
we haven't.
Sometimes we solve things.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
sometimes
but-
we don't. That's the way it goes. All right, break time here at Coffee and time for a look at the forecast being brought to you by Insperity.
Sunny skies and 67 with a breeze from the northeast. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 41. Tuesday's weather, sunny with a high of 69. Wednesday, sunshine and 74. Thursday, sunshine and 64. Friday, sunshine and 67. Saturday, a slight chance of a shower, partly sunny with a high of 69. And next Sunday, partly sunny and 72.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with the sunny skies, we have 64 degrees. Insperity, providing scalable HR solutions, access to better benefits, HR technology, and payroll for over 35 years. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Breakfast and lunch are always special at George's Restaurant because they care about what they serve. Breakfast includes all the popular favorites, including great pancakes like blueberry, cranberry walnut, and more. Try one of their creative omelets like Green Giant with broccoli, spinach, and peppers, or the Polsky omelet with kielbasa, bacon, and ham. George's Restaurant also features house favorites for lunch and daily specials like country fried pork chops or great tasting salads with their own hand-sliced chips. George's Restaurant, 793 Harris Avenue, Woonsocket. Open 7 days a week. Takeouts welcome. 769-1036.
Call George's Restaurant at 769-1036 for takeout.
Hi, this is Don Burnell inviting you to join us on the Midday Show every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday with the Super Quiz, great oldies, and interesting guests.
All right, Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callan here, along with Melissa Murray and former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray is here as well. So we'll see if we can get a scoop out of Bill right here.
Oh,
Ready?
boy. Oh, see, this,
What is Don Grabian going to do about running for Congress?
Ooh.
You have his ear.
I actually had breakfast with him a week ago,
All right.
and again I was with him at the State House on Wednesday for Rick Bernie's judge.
Which way is he leaning? If you
You know,
can't
he-
say, you can't say.
No, he's being
understandable.
cute. I can. Let me give you my gut.
All right,
and this
go
has
ahead.
nothing to do with what he says. I don't think he's going.
Okay.
That's my guess because we've had deep discussions.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't want to leave Pawtucket and all that they've trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've said it clearly to him, so I'm not, not talking out of school. And then he asked my advice. Now I'm only one of whoever else is talking, and I'm sure there's a lot talking. And I said, you're young, and that will follow you because if you leave, and I think he would have a heck of a chance of winning the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave, then that's going to follow you, that you walked away from Pawtucket.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the probably biggest thing in his mind right now is that because he has such a, he's been a fighter. I give him credit. I don't know how
He
he's ever
he
put
needs
it.
a win.
Well, I went through the
Yeah.
Pawtucket Post Ox with him elbow to elbow because I was mayor at that time. And it's just so much, and he's been so close, and then something blows up. So that's my gut feeling. But he's been very close to, keeping it. But he's going to announce, I believe he's going to announce next week, after Memorial Day.
Okay.
Because he can't keep, he's got
Yeah,
to,
I get it.
but
Yeah, but it's budget time right now, so it's
sure,
hard.
yeah. So he's, it's going to be interesting.
And he should be there in Pawtucket, especially for the demolition of McCoy Stadium,
Yeah.
and then the building of the new high school. That
That's-
should be his focus.
That's going to be major because we have
Yes.
it in front of us at the Rybeck. Is not only there. That's another big issue in the state right now. Is we just approved $100 million for Central Falls, which was great, and that's state backed. 97% of it is state backed. So that was kind of an easy decision for us at that time. But you're looking at Warwick's in trouble. I'm changing subjects a little bit, but Warwick is $350 million, and they don't want to give another nickel. In a sense, you can't blame them because it's like nonstop what's going to happen. So
All right, just keeping it down in Pawtucket for a little bit. Are you hearing anything on the new soccer stadium?
it's moving along.
Is it?
When I talked to him,
I thought things had stopped because they kind of ran out of money.
I didn't get that indication.
No?
To be
Okay.
honest with you, And, you know, they're not going to say a lot, even if they did, but there's so many rumors out there. But he gave no indication, again, when I was with him, that you know, they're kind of moving along. But what's interesting is they really have nothing to see. There's no money yet from the state or Pawtucket in this deal.
Right.
So they don't have to tell him anything at this point. At some point, there will be a critical, you know, position. But right now, let me say this again: he didn't seem worried about it at this point.
All right.
And there's a lot of rumors
And-
floating.
There sure are.
But I've also
There are
seen,
ways,
because
yeah.
of the you know, places I see on the internet and like that, they're actually hiring the football club, and they're looking for well, they may have already hired somebody, but they're looking for an HR person,
Yep.
HR manager,
Yep.
and they were looking for ticket salespeople. I said, I can't think of a more difficult job than trying to sell tickets for this soccer club where we don't even know where we're going to play.
Yeah.
Just are we going to East Providence? Are we going to Providence College? Are we going down to URI? Are we going to go to Bryant? I always thought they might want to play there. It's just, I mean, how do you sell this when you don't know what's going on?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
It's,
good question.
And where are you going to go? That's
Yeah.
the.
And when will it be ready?
And when, yeah, exactly. It's those are big issues. There's no question about it.
All right, and maybe Melissa knows this too. But anything going on with Memorial Hospital in Pawtucket? It's just sitting there. It's empty.
That's
Does
Yeah,
the
I
state
don't-
want
I-
to do anything with it? The city of
I
Pawtucket.
don't. Melissa
I haven't
might
heard anything. Right now, we're really focused on a lot of different things, but I haven't heard anything about Memorial Hospital, honestly.
And again, I was involved with that because it was so important to the Cumberland, you know, even somewhat Woonsocket, the overflow,
Yeah.
and but I guess it's in deplorable condition because it's been vacant. Well, it's been
How many
vacant
years
since
now?
2015,
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
and so I remember it when I came in.
We don't
And,
have a lot of options up
yeah,
here. You know, there's
yeah.
Landmark. Thank goodness. You know that we can never lose that.
Right.
Right. It's crucial.
You're absolutely
it's crucial.
right.
All right. We'll get the Bill's take on the whole. Are you concerned? They keep nationally. They keep talking about the debt ceiling, and we got to raise it, and nothing's been done. Are they just blowing hot air? Are they just dragging their feet? Will anything get done?
That's a
Will anything get done? This is- yeah, that's,
it has to get done.
yeah, it
And
has to get done.
And they're meeting today, by the way. Not that I'm in club. Don't
you
get
gonna
me
be
wrong.
Are you going to be?
Here
you,
again, when
you've met with everybody
else.
else,
The
right?
radio. That's how I got my information. But they are Biden and
And McCarthy.
McCarthy. They're meeting this afternoon. Knowing politics, I think it's going to get done. They
has
got
to
to
get
do
done.
it. They have to, right?
Has
Melissa
to be done.
knows
But
it.
you know, this is like a standoff.
Yeah,
this
right.
is like a
Right.
game of chicken, right?
That's that right.
And everybody
Dangerous
is
chicken, by the way.
yes, very, very right, and everyone's getting all riled up, and there's folks on both sides, and people say, "Oh, you know, just let it happen." Well, I mean, no, we can't do that. We can't default. The United States cannot default on our debts.
And nobody's going to win this, by the way.
Yeah,
You know,
everyone
nobody's
will.
gonna win.
Everyone will lose.
I don't care what party you're in.
Yeah, seniors, veterans, children, everyone will lose.
Oh.
It's
Talk about depressing.
so. But you mentioned RIPAC earlier, so I wanted to let you know that the tangible tax bill is up for a vote to be voted out of Senate Finance tomorrow, which is
we know
super
about it.
exciting. Yeah, of course you
We
know
know
about it,
about it.
right? Yes. So super exciting. It's moving along on our side. We just need to get it moving on the other side.
Oh, okay. No,
It hasn't had a hearing yet. So.
we've been meeting with the former speaker, and he does a lobbying for us.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and very capable hands.
Yes.
We've been. The executive director Kim Moores and myself have met with him at least 3 times, and it's important.
This
as
is a
you know.
really exciting
Yep,
bill.
yep.
And, you know, I was talking about it yesterday, and I said, you know, and people are surprised that I am taking it because they know I'm not a tax cutter. And I'm not. I had the 1% bill, and everybody knows that. But this bill is really, really vital. We're talking about cutting tangible tax for like 85% of the smallest businesses is only about, I know when the numbers in Woonsocket line up, match perfectly to what the projections are. 85% of the smallest businesses, your mom and pops, your family owned businesses, wouldn't pay any tangibles. the top businesses would get some relief, but they'll still pay their fair share. And that in Woonsocket ends up 85% of businesses pay about only 17% of the tax. So it eases that
That's all.
It eases that administrative burden, right? And going to chasing after like 50, 60, $150. But it also like makes it a lot easier for the businesses. So we're,
And it's
fingers
a,
crossed.
And it's
fingers
crazy.
crossed.
Years ago, when I had my own company before I was the mayor and kind of semi-retired, I worked out of my house, but I still had to pay a tangible.
I still do.
Yeah,
same.
you
same.
know it.
It's,
and
it's
I'm
crazy.
Going,
What?
I got a movable desk, and and I knew the
Yes.
I knew the tax assessor because when I took over as mayor, I had a lot of deep discussions about this tangible, and
It's so wild.
Yeah, this is
I pay
big.
tax. I have been paying tax on my grandmother's desk. I didn't even purchase it, but it was in my shop when I had a shop. And so when I closed my shop and I started working out of my home, I continue to pay taxes on it.
Doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away. It never goes away, which is wild.
In terms of the debt ceiling, do you see them making an announcement by the end of the week, or and get it done before Memorial Day, or do it after Labor Day when we're down to the nitty gritty because we got to get it done by June 1st?
I think it's going to go. My gut is down to the end. It's the
So we'll look at the 30th or 31st.
theatrics behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Melissa
But
agrees with me, but
Yeah, I probably agree with
Yeah.
that. But it causes everyone so much stress.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just, it's wild. It's wild.
So let's try to go home, enjoy the 3-day weekend, and then we come
yeah,
back
but
and
I have
hammer it out.
I
in
have
2
a
days.
question though. I've talked to
All right.
some people and they're like oblivious to it. So I don't know how many
You mean like lay
normal,
people?
just lay people.
Just your
that-
everyday
what
person,
What are you
right.
talking about? Like I go
Or they don't, they don't understand how important it is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the people knee deep in it, and unfortunately, we know a lot that's going on and what effects it can be.
Right.
But other people don't. I'm amazed talking to we had that funeral for that good friend of mine last week, and I met a lot of people, and I can tell you that was not one of the topics that was discussed.
course. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and they're talking about what they're going to trade for it, and talking about cutting TANF, and that will affect It'll affect us. Everything will affect us if they do those cuts.
All right.
Not good.
Well, over this past weekend, a lot of colleges had their commencements. URI, Bryant,
Yep.
Salve Regina, among others. One of the others was Boston University had their commencement ceremonies actually yesterday, and there were people picketing at the BU commencement because
no surprise.
well, one of their commencement speakers was the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav. All right, because the writers are still on strike.
Oh yeah.
So and he's the head of the studio, or one of the head of the studio. So they were out there chanting during his 20-minute speech. He did have to pause at one point, and they just say, "It's tough to make a living as a writer, while this guy's making his millions of dollars." And that was their.
Well, did you read that they're
Noted.
going to have the awards that they canceled? What is it? The coming up
Tony's?
Tonys. They're going to have it, and it was announced
gonna have it?
Sunday. They're going to have the awards, which they said they weren't.
Okay.
So that's a big change.
But won't they be out there picking the
I'm sure they would.
course.
Absolutely.
So who's going to cross the line?
Well, that's the big question. But it was just
Yeah.
announced over the weekend.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
so
so,
they
yeah.
had, and where's that being? That's usually New York, isn't it?
I don't know. I had to be honest with you. I'm not.
Not up on.
I'm not going to watch
Yeah.
it anyway.
No,
so
all right.
yes. But I'll have to
you
tell
cross that
you.
picket line, you're going to get iced out.
Yeah.
But you asked me about the governor. He was named a doctorate he was the keynote.
That's right.
So
For you, all right?
no,
You were-
Bryant. He was
Oh,
the speaker
Bryant.
at Bryant. So last night I texted him about 11 o'clock. A lot of people don't know. He's amazing. I don't know how he puts up, because he didn't do this as mayor, by the way. And I told him this. I laugh at it. But he's, as governor, oh my God, he'll go to 11 o'clock. You'll hear from him at 7 in the morning. So anyway, I said, congratulations, doctor. I have a pain in my side. And I can't tell you what he told me. I think he said something about me being a pain. Somewhere.
Yeah.
Not you, Bill.
But no, I said I have a pain on my side. What do I do?
So he told you where to go, right?
Yeah, he did, pretty much.
All right, we'll take another break here on the Coffee and program. More coming up. Stick around.
Dr. Jeffrey Dodge believes in providing the finest dental care for each person because every patient is unique. Good care begins with regular checkups because they're important for assuring that your teeth and supporting structures are sound and healthy, often contributing to your overall good health. Medications, illness, and diet can also affect your teeth, gums, and mouth area. Dr. Dodge also features an in-house laboratory for repair and fabrication of teeth and structures, where each step in the process is directly under the doctor's control. Dr. Dodge, 1438 Park Avenue, Woonsocket, at Park Square, 762-3044.
So you're remodeling your home and you want to find just the right flooring. So off you go to DRL Carpet. Why? Because they have the best selection and prices in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. That means you don't have to wait. Plus, it means you can get it installed now. So first you get the best price, next you get the best service, and you get the best selection. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, hardwood floors, the place to shop is DRL Carpet, 27 Veterans Way, Woonsocket, next to World War II Veterans Memorial Park. DRL Carpet reminds you there's a big difference between getting the job done and getting the job done right. DRL Carpet of Woonsocket.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, it's Coffee and here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us once again on Monday morning. It's May 22nd. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray and former mayor from the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray. And
I have a positive update.
Yay,
since we've been,
positive
right.
update.
If you remember the 5 kittens that rescued out of
That's
the
right.
floor
Yes.
last weekend, so it was a week ago, and they're being fostered by someone who works at the Woonsocket Cat Sanctuary, and they were amazing. Please, if you go to their yard sale, support them in any way you can, and obviously if you want to adopt a cat, they're the place to be. But they, the runt is as big as the others now.
Good.
They are getting really socialized and they're doing really well. They'll be available for adoption in about 4 weeks or so.
All right.
They're so cute. I really lament that I wasn't able to foster them. I love doing that, but I just can't do it with my schedule right now. But
You have any cats now?
I have 1 cat and 1 dog. One of
That's
each.
enough.
That's enough. Yeah, you're right. But
All
good
right,
update.
Bill, in Cumberland, that very good update. In Cumberland, is there any update on the construction project they're doing way down on Mendon Road?
Which one?
Between Marshall Ave and the Dell's Lemonade.
Oh, that's that housing?
Yeah, they were blowing up the rocks on the side of the building.
A lot of people don't understand that because
there.
that's been going on. That's another court battle.
Is
was
it?
won.
Okay.
McNulty won it through a court battle. My team worked extensively with him because it's a tough thing because of all that rock they've taken down. Is that neighbors? We were trying to appease the neighbors, and then people got involved that shouldn't. But it's been all state approved, so it's everybody says, "Oh, it can't be there." But to answer your question, from what I gather, it's moving along, and they'll start. The rock was the biggest thing, but they're going to start. I think pretty close to within the next couple of months of putting that up. But McNulty is a very good builder, and I never had any problems that they would do the right thing. Because the problem you have is you have from Meadowcrest, you have everybody up on the top there, and but he's well aware of it, and I don't see anything. Can't really tell them because the blasting and everything's been but it's like that anytime you have to go to blast. But they're honorable. Let me put it this way: they're very honorable people.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you heard that this morning. We had a quick news flash. So the more is coming, but there was a fire at Kirkbury Country Club.
I just heard that
this morning around 4:30.
in the kitchen.
Yes. So we're waiting to get more details on what was there. I saw the firemen up on top of one of the buildings there, so they were probably
I wonder how
breaking through the roof to get to the fire.
That's not good.
No, that's a lot
And
of.
again, I
a lot
was
to
just
take care
just
of.
there after the funeral of
Yeah.
Wednesday I was there, and they got such a beautiful setup, and they've done so much for
Yeah.
all the communities in around. That's the place to go.
All right. On the national level, did you know that there's a nationwide outbreak of contaminated eye drops?
No.
Yeah, the CDC's report another death has been linked to the recalled eye drops Delsum Pharma and Ezricare. The tainted eye drops are now linked to 4 deaths and 81 cases of extensive vision loss in 18 states.
Wild. Is this is an over-the-counter eye
Over
drop?
the counter, yeah. The FDA has urged Americans to stop using these 2 brands. So Delsum, DELSAM, Pharma, and Ezricare, EZRI, Care.
That's scary,
Yeah, that's terrifying.
especially over the that
It's pretty bad, huh?
yeah.
So I don't normally take eye drops unless they're prescribed, but a
I
lot of
did-
people like the the Visine kind of thing to
Yep.
keep their eyes
I
moist.
I did for the first time that I've ever done it in my life, but I had a lot of trouble in April with I don't know whether it was allergies or
Yes,
what. and
allergies
was it
make you
bad?
feel like
Yeah.
you have sand in your eyes.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I finally did it, and I think my wife, I think she got over the counter. I better check it because she might have done it on purpose. I'm not sure, but that's dangerous. That's,
Yeah,
really-
yes. Well, at least she's not like this guy down in Florida, all right? Or maybe
Another
she is.
another
Well,
Florida man.
Yeah,
Yes.
no,
An
Here we
employee
go.
at a Florida Dollar General store is being sentenced 4 years behind bars because he was adding bleach to his coworker's Pepsi.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Jerome Ellis worked at the store in DeLand, Florida. Was caught on surveillance video pouring the bleach into the Pepsi. 48-year-old janitor told cops he was mad at his coworker for brushing up against him. Boy, that's you can see that. The coworker, by the way, is okay.
This is a crazy world, and I'm
It
at
is.
the,
Yeah,
I'm at
it
the
is.
age looking back rather than forward.
And it makes you wonder: did he pick Pepsi or soda because it would hide the taste of the bleach?
What are you trying to say?
boy,
That you're
I-
not a
he's-
Pepsi drinker?
Well,
Pepsi
See how
versus
his mi-
Coca
could've been
see how
Coke.
Joe's mind goes? Yeah.
Well, no. If you pour the bleach in the water, you're definitely going to taste the difference.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you pour it in this Pepsi or Coke drink,
I would
will the
hope.
Coke
You think he-
carbonation take care of the taste, but
I
yet
can't
the
imagine
bad
that it
chemicals will
would.
still be there?
Right?
You
I
think he got
mean-
into that much detail? If
Or
you're
you're
gonna
just
put,
thinking like, hey, I have this quick opportunity. I'm going to throw some bleach in there, and
Yeah.
and I mean, you
All
would
right.
think that you would be able to taste it.
Well, just ask your wife where you keep the bleach.
Ooh, I
and,
don't even want to.
uh,
Yeah, that could. Listen, we've been married 60 years in October, and
You're still here.
I'm still here.
All right. We talked about the contaminated eye drops, but Target, they're recalling close to 5 million candles because they could crack while they're burning and pose
Oh,
a
yeah.
serious risk
Yep.
of
Exploding
injury.
candles.
Yeah.
They did not properly test those candles in my prior life.
Is it the candles or is it the
It's the-
glass container?
It's many factors.
All right.
So in my prior life, I worked as an R&D chemist in a candle company.
Wow. Okay.
And part of my job was to do stability testing. So we would test out different size wicks, and it depends on if there's a heavy fragrance load, it makes the flame higher and the glass, and like you have to do hours and hours. You're
There's a lot of
supposed
science
to do.
behind this.
There is a lot of science behind it. I got my degree in forensics, and I ended up working at a candle laboratory. So, go figure. But yeah, there's many, many, many hours of testing to make sure. And then once you find the one that you think is stable, you have to, burn dozens of them and write up reports to say they're, they're
a lot
stable.
so a lot goes into it then.
A lot goes
Oh,
into
wow.
it because
Never-
the liability for candles is huge, as you can imagine,
Oh,
right?
sure.
There's ASTM standards and yeah. So someone didn't test enough. That's the
Well-
very first thing. They didn't do their stability testing.
Target is saying they've had over 100 reports of the candles cracking during use and 6 reports of injuries. Now the recall, have you heard of these people? The recall is for the Threshold glass jar candles. I guess that's the company, Threshold.
Mm-hmm.
in various scents and sizes, and sold beginning of August of 2019. So you got to go back a
Wow,
few years.
okay.
Well, it's obvious Melissa didn't work for them.
No,
I guess
they
it
should
wouldn't
have
have
hired me. But no, maybe what also happened is like, oh, hey, you're supposed to use this size wick, but we ran out, so we're going to use,
This
we don't
size
know,
wick.
right? We're going to use a little bigger one. It does make a difference. It does.
All right.
I know I personally hate candles.
I love
My
them.
kids, I know a lot. I have daughters that I go, what, you've seen so much of it that, they
Is it
light
just
them.
the scented candles? Are you
Oh,
okay
these
with
are the
candles on
scented.
candles on birthday cakes?
Well,
okay?
they're on and off, but,
All right.
I'm not going to be that bad. But, no, these scented candles.
Yeah.
And they walk out, they get busy and they walk out and it's, you hear some of the,
Yeah, I
maybe
never
might be
leave a
me.
candle unattended. Plus, I have a dog and a cat, so I have to be
Yes,
super careful.
absolutely. They'll
I have
knock
to
it
be
over.
in the room.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, the cat will just
Yep.
It'll walk up to the flame and try to whack at it.
or just knock the whole thing off the
Yeah.
table, and because
That's
that's what
been-
cats do.
Yeah.
That's how we know the world is round. Because if it were flat, cats would have knocked everything off the side.
Makes perfect
Science.
sense. That's right. All right. Well, you probably already know this, but the Bay Area, San Francisco, is the #1 most expensive city in the U.S. to raise kids.
Who would
Raise yourself,
Excuse
too.
me. Who would
Right.
want to raise
wanna
a
raise
kid
kids
in
in
San
San-
Francisco?
Well, I don't
I
know.
I hope I don't insult anybody, but
They used data from MIT's living wage calculator to find that in the U.S. it costs close to $21,000 per year to raise a child in that area. They reviewed nearly 400 metro areas across the country to determine how much it costs 2 adults to raise a child in 2023. Much of the top 10 were dominated by California areas, but also included Boston, Princeton, New Jersey, Ann Arbor, Michigan, Kalamazoo, Michigan.
wow.
And all those areas cost over $30,000 per year to bring up a child.
Kalamazoo.
Yeah, that's surprising.
That is
That's random.
That is kind of odd.
But
huh?
also, everybody seems to be leaving San Francisco. It's so bad, and or California, I should say, as a whole.
Yep.
I think when you can work from home now,
yeah.
when folks really started working from
Right.
home, you can live anywhere,
Yeah.
right?
So why wouldn't you? Well, I think the expense.
live where
Yeah.
where the cost of living is cheaper,
lot
and still
cheaper.
keep your job with your same salary. Sure,
My
why
son
not?
my son had a friend that moved out to California because he wanted to get into the movies. He wanted to score movies, wanted to write music for,
Right,
for
right.
movies and TV shows.
Did he?
Tough business.
Yeah.
He's done some, but it's
tough.
a lot of networking. He's trying to. It's funny. He's trying to latch on to the next Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg had John Williams to do all his movies, Star Wars and Close Encounters,
Sure.
and among others.
Sure.
He's trying to find that next big director so he can just ride his coattails
Sure.
and write songs or the score for that movie. But it's tough. I mean, who do you? It's a real gamble.
They just
It
had
is.
they had something on the news. Bryan College has a graduate. They had it on the news the last 2 nights, and he is, I guess, quite the sound guy as a in music that he's been doing it at Bryant. He's already got a multi-million-dollar contract he signed, and he'll be leaving to go to California in the music industry. And it's been all over the news, and it was. I guess this kid has been doing it for 4 years, whatever.
Wow.
It sounds like he edits or something. I don't know anything about it. But, it's interesting because, but like Melissa says, I was amazed. I was down in St. Petersburg, and my son lives in this big complex, huge complex, and I couldn't believe the young people that are all, because there's a pool, and you see them down there with their computer, and
Working.
it's
They're
just
working,
it's
yeah.
changed the. And I have another grandson that went out to Denver. He's with Fidelity. Fidelity said fine.
Yep,
He
yep.
went out there because he and his fiance love skiing, and he loves it out there. And he works out like he says. There's no hiccups or anything as far as his job, and it's a world changing.
It is.
Yeah.
Dave's daughter is doing that. Dave Rich's daughter. She's traveling out on the West Coast. She just left Vegas. She's in California now, and
No-
she can do that too. From what she,
Sure.
I'm not sure who she works for, but as long as they got an internet connection,
Yep.
she's good to go.
Yeah.
She can do it.
But
for
some of
anywhere.
that is changing because again, my oldest son, well, Bill,
Yeah.
he works for Raymond James, and they've called people back, but they've lost young people
Yeah.
because they don't want
They
to
don't
go
wanna
back.
go back.
Right.
But the companies, and I can see where the companies being, in, I was in the corporate world when my good days, I should say, is that you need that face-to-face, hands-on kind of personality, and that's what companies realize, and so they're at least trying to get them back 3 days a week. But these young
don't
kids
want it.
they don't want to do it.
Don't wanna
No,
do it.
no.
All right, we've run out of time, so we thank you very much for listening. The coffee has come to an end, so Melissa Murray, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Happy Monday. Have a great week, everybody.
All righty, and former mayor, Town of Cumberland, Bill Murray, thanks for joining
Thank
us
you.
today.
I always enjoy it, and have a great week, everybody, and a good weekend.
Say hi to the governor for us, will you?
I certainly will.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. And stay tuned for Leslie Page at the Libraries coming up, followed by Food First with Karen Zangari next on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.